Hello. Good evening, everybody. So we have a light change to the program because we're still waiting on another group to get here. So we're going to start off with, if you're interested, you can get a quick round of drinks at the bar until 8:40 or 18:40, 18:45 roughly, and then we'll go ahead and get started. And feel free to take your drink to your seat if you want to. So, yeah. count of us.
Sonst wird es zu spät. Perfekt. Eine Minute und
Ja.
dann geht's los.
No, no.
Okay, but that's nice because now Valentin is here and he's I don't know what is Abteilungsleiter.
Department head.
Department head of
Yeah.
department
For EU and
section
international
for
affairs.
EU, yes. Now he has to explain what the Austrian Chamber of Labor is. That's nice because it's so specific, so it's quite difficult to
Yeah.
explain. But he will do it perfect.
Test. All right, everybody. Hope you've been enjoying your drinks. If you can find your way to your seats, we'll go ahead and get started for tonight.
I stay here.
Yeah.
I say a few words for two.
All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our kickoff event for the Yes Europe 2025 annual conference here at the factory. So my name is Henry. I'm responsible for the moderation tonight. I'm an active member of Yes Europe and have been played a bit of a role in organizing the conference for this year, and we're really excited to kick off tonight. So to start, I'd like to invite Judith from the factory up on stage to say a few words.
Thank you, Henry, for the warm welcome. My name is Judith, and it's a pleasure to be your host tonight. We have an intensive program ahead, so I will keep it brief. Just let me mention one point. This place here, the factory, is run by the Vienna Chamber of Labor and the publishing house, as you can see, of the Austrian Trade Union Federation. This cooperation aims to foster dialogue and cooperation between different stakeholders, such as students and the trade union movement, scientists and young professionals, stakeholders from the profit and the from the public and the non-profit sector. So we do so because we are convinced that dialogue and cooperation will lead us to a brighter future, and this vision is perfectly realized tonight. So I want to say thank you to Yes Europe, thank you to the organizing team that you choose the factory as the venue for the opening evening. Yeah, I'm very looking forward to the program. I think we will listen to many different interesting ideas, and I will hand it over back to you, Henry. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Judith. So next we're going to hear from the country representative for Yes Europe Austria, Jeremias Jobst, and longtime Yes Europe Austria member Guntram Preismeier. Welcome.
What a great feeling to finally stand here in front of you and see you all from whole Europe. Thank you very much that you traveled so a long way. I know this is not normal to come so far away for a volunteer organization like Yes Europe. We are here the next 2 and 3 days to discuss, I think, 3 main topics. The first is it's about sustainable cities. Second is the question about how to get a fair and just energy transition. And the third one is, and I think this is the most important one, what can a young generation, our generation, do to improve the Europe continent in points of sustainability transition, a sustainable transition, and for sure to have an impact to make it better. My name is Jeremias. I think many of you know me because I'm country representative since more than 4 years, together with a great team, and it's a great pleasure to be with you here. And I would say please an applause to the team because more than 12 volunteers together had worked here to make this possible. So please give an applause to Guntram, Barbara, Malu, Stephanie, Henry, Rachel, Leonhard, Oleg, Saha, Felix, and Rebecca. I think some of you have already met earlier today because we had a very stressful and full program. So some of you were at InPlan workshop. Thank you very much for this contribution to InPlan. We will hear later a presentation. Some of you were at the incineration plant, Wien Energie, and some of you were at the Wiener Rathaus. So I think it was just the first day, because tomorrow and the day after tomorrow we will see much more. We will see more than 40 external speakers. We will see many workshops. We will see different kind of excursions and, of course, lectures and panel discussions. And the main point is we see Vienna as a strong partner in Europe for social and ecological transition. So to come to an end, I think this conference is a masterpiece because regarding to our limited resources, and May Guntram, you can tell us in short notes our sponsors and partners for tonight.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Yeah, as Jeremias said, we are all volunteers. We are working, because of our passion. But of course, such a conference would not be possible without any partners and sponsors. So I would really like to thank, first of all of the partners that offered us the venue. So first of all, here today, Judith, thank you very much for offering the factory. But also tomorrow, the Wiener Bildungsakademie, which is offering us the whole day, exclusively the venue for our conference day. So I think that really deserves an applause. And also for Saturday, we have two nice venues. So Schönherr Attorneys at Law, they invited us for a regulatory breakfast to them. And also our strategy meeting will take place in the office space of E7 Energy Innovation and Engineering. And I don't want to forget also the venue of our after party, Roter Bogen, they will host us. And this will be a really nice party tomorrow. Of course, still such a conference is not possible also with direct financial support. So thanks to two European projects, that's the NONAPS project, you can find it in the back, and also the Power Youth project. They both will host tomorrow quite interesting workshops, so we're looking forward to that. And also another sponsor from Carinthia actually. So VSB Haustechnik, thanks for their support. It's the engineering office of one of our former Europe members. So that's still quite a long list, but we also received immaterial support. So I would like to thank in this regard the ICA, the International Cartographic Association, for providing a workshop tomorrow. And also the cooperation with InPlan. Thanks for that.
Okay, so before you see a very quick presentation about Yes Europe, I would say just one last point. Because as you take a look to the program, we have a 12-page program. So I would say it once more again, this 12 pages program would be not possible without the unbelievable support of voluntary work. We do this alongside our full-time jobs, and it took us more than 1 year. So please, a last applause, and then I think you start the presentation.
Yes, so I would like to briefly show to you how we are working at Yes Europe Austria and who we are. So we are a voluntary group. We are a small steering group out of 3. And Jeremias, you already mentioned all our core group members who are working together for this unique event. But we also have a range of other members and alumni who used to play an important role in our organization or just join us casually for our events. So that's about 20 to 30 people who are regularly meeting. As a group, we formed in 2020, so in the middle of the pandemic, we formed a group, and since that, we managed to grow to a network, I would say, all over Austria, with many young experts and young leaders. So here I would like to show you some impressions. Some highlights from the last year and also from before, I think. So we tried a few different formats. We arranged after-work meetings at different office spaces. We did serious planning meetings where we had maybe 1 or 2 drinks or more. And also, we tried to do some flagship events. And since today, we also already had one really big flagship event, which was, as you can see here, in 2023, our Energy and Sustainability Day. Many of you, or some of you may have joined there. So it was a full day of panel discussions, of workshops, and yes, it more or less served as a blueprint for what we're doing today and tomorrow. So finally, I would just like to highlight that we are an open community, and we will always be an open community. So if you like to change the world maybe a little bit with us, or just having long geeky discussions on any energy topics, then you are more than welcome to join us. Thanks.
Yes. A last personal note, and then we close, is because for me this conference is also a little bit special, because in just a few weeks I have to step down from a role as a CR in Austria, not because I want, but because of my age. I'm 35, and Yes Europe is an organization for people under 35, so if you are interested in being the new CR of Austria, please send us a mail. Spontaneous applications are welcome.
All right. And Yes Europe Austria is actually just a small piece of the whole international organization Yes Europe. So let's learn a bit more about what Yes Europe International actually is. So please welcome with me here on stage our President of Yes Europe, Eric Balakrishnan.
Thank you, everyone. Welcome to our 9th Yes Europe annual conference, the 8th one to take place in person in 8 different cities, going all the way back to 2016. These are some pictures from our last 3 annual conferences in Turin, Athens, and Leuven. And I guarantee you we will have a much bigger picture that we will take tomorrow for the 2025 annual conference in Vienna. I'm going to keep it as a very brief introduction, but what I will say is I'd like to correct Jeremias. This annual conference is not 1 year in the making, it's actually 5 years in the making. To host an event like this, to combine a professional experience into what we try to provide, which is a bit of a social experience, we need to get everything working perfectly together. And for that, we need the collaboration of all of the partners that Jeremias mentioned, but also the cooperation at an international level. I'll explain a little bit more about this tomorrow during a speech that I will give. But essentially, without the connections that we have at the local level, an annual conference like this would not be possible. There's no way that we can plan something so high level like this. So I'd like to congratulate the Austrian team, not just for 1 year of effort, but for 2, 3, 4, 5 years of effort. And as Jeremias said, he's 35 years old, and he's been in this organization since he was a lot younger than that. And he's managed to see sort of this project all the way to the end. So I hope you enjoy your time with us over the next 3 days. We've obviously already had 3 sessions already. And like I said before, we have social events like this, but we also have very professional events as well. And that's what Yes Europe symbolizes. We are the perfect balance between the social aspirations of young people, but also the professional aspirations and what you want to achieve in your career. And I hope you get a flavor of what is sort of to expect from Yes Europe over these 3 days. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Eric. So now I'd like to invite Jeremias, Barbara, and Guntram up to the stage to talk a bit more about the main day of the conference tomorrow. So everybody comfortable?
Yes.
So the conference tomorrow addresses 3 main themes. Jeremias, why did you choose the topic of sustainable and climate neutral urban development as your topic?
So, you know, I can also very simple answer would be because most of us in this room is living in cities, but it's very simple. But on the other hand, we can take this question very serious. And maybe many of you know it because Austrians are a little bit pessimistic and we are a little bit grumpy in Vienna. So if we look as a young generation on the indicators, for our generation, I think it looks very worse. So for example, we have rising public debt in Europe. We have a cost of living crisis. We have a mega inflation. And many of you are also confronted with a lack of affordable housing in Europe. We have a industrial sector under pressure. We have disruption through AI. So as you can see, it's very pessimistic. But on the other hand, we have reason for optimism. And I think Vienna is a city who is the materialization of this optimism. For example, the city demonstrates that sustainable and socially just urban development is possible. We have 3 quick examples for all our attendees from whole Europe. First is the water. Go to the tap and drink the water in Vienna and you will see no better water in whole Europe for 2 million metropole. It's perfect water. A second example for Vienna. Take the public transportation. It runs 24 hours a week and in a 2 million city on a very high level, and you can get this system for just, or you got it the last 14 years, for just €1 a day. Now it's a little bit more expensive, but please imagine it's just €1.10 per day. And the third is housing. I know that many people here in this room are confronted with high level prices at housing, and in Vienna more than 60% of the people lives in subsidized housing. You have to imagine last sentence that Vienna has more than 240,000 housing units. So to come to an end, I think it's the perfect example, Vienna, to choose as a place to discuss about sustainable city tomorrow.
Thank you, Jeremias. Moving on to you, Guntram. So why did you decide to focus on the energy transition for your section?
Yes, I mean, energy transition, accelerating the energy transition is actually the core of yes, Europe, I would say. And on top of that, I think we are really living in exciting times. So as a society, we actually would have all the technology available to get rid of fossil fuels and to really do the energy transition. But for some reason, it needs still a lot of effort in policy, in business, in social, in the civil society to get this job done. Even in policy, we see even a step back in many countries, because now we need to focus a lot on military expenses than on energy transition expenses and much more. On the other hand, on the market, we see now dropping in the economy of scales of so many technologies like solar PV or batteries dropping in price really rapidly. So that's really, really interesting and offering a lot of opportunities. So I think exciting times. And for me personally, that's my everyday job. I'm working as a consultant for energy innovation. So I really like to see the passion also of the young peers I'm working with, and that's quite inspiring. And that's why I think it's an important topic.
All right, thank you. And Barbara, for your part, so how does impact and voluntary work fit in with the other two topics?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. Well, I guess, and falling into the pessimistic trap again, just for the beginning, I promise. I guess every one of you might know the feeling. We feel like we are surrounded by bad news over bad news over bad news in news feeds and from people around us and studies, etc. I mean, you know, climate change and all its negative effects and so on. And I think we feel a little, or I feel a little overpowered by this sometimes. Too small to do something, or this kind of feeling so you don't really know where to actually start to make a difference. And that could be really depressing. And I think it is very important that we get an angle on what we can do. So what is there actually to do? What challenges can we overcome if we just start something? And there are actually a lot of different possibilities. For example, you could take a green job. You could make a living out of joining the energy transition, or accelerate climate change adaptation in a city or something like that. So you can do it via employment, or you could do it via entrepreneurship. You could found your own business and making the economy step by step a little greener. Or maybe you could do it via civil engagement and join different forms of activism where you can really draw the attention to pressing issues, for example, for politicians or some other decision makers. Or you can just do it via international projects or international organizations like Yes Europe and others, for example. And the really good thing about Yes Europe and these other organizations is we really connect people. There's cooperation, there's also implementation of solutions if you start projects together, for example. And to address these different possibilities, we have our own session. So we will talk about this tomorrow afternoon a lot.
Thanks for sharing, Barbara. I know I personally can resonate with what you said. I'm sure a lot of the audience can as well. But yeah, maybe coming back to you three, to Jeremias to start. What can participants who are coming tomorrow expect from the program? What awaits them?
Okay, first of all, I hope that everybody here in the room will come tomorrow, because tomorrow is the great day at Wiener Bildungsakademie. I will lead in the morning together with Malu and Rebecca and Felix the bilingual part on sustainable cities in Europe. So we will give you a mix of different formats. For example, one group will go together with Anna Steiner in Plan to do an excursion to Aspern-Seestadt. It's one of the largest urban development regions in Europe. The second group in English can join Markus Jobst. He's a high-level speaker, and he will do an impressive workshop where everyone can create a digital cartography and can learn how to do a climate map by their own on the laptop. So Markus Jobst will show you a lot in an English workshop. And on the main stage, you can meet us in German. So we will have high-level speakers from the city of Vienna, from the city politics, from the universities, like Christoph Reinprecht. So I'm very curious to have him. And you will see a lot of keynotes and panel discussions. So I hope to see you tomorrow. If you have English, the English track, and if you have German, come to me, so it will be funny. Thank you.
All right, and Guntram, what awaits us in the afternoon?
Yes, so in the energy transition stream, we are kicking off after lunch. We will start our session, we call it Energy Transition, the Future of the Energy Economy. So we will start with quite a high-level keynote from the European Commission, and then we'll have a policy discussion, so a panel discussion about European and Austrian energy policy. In the second half, we will then go a bit more hands-on, bit more practical. We'll have a keynote on energy efficiency audits, and then talk about smart energy management solutions and how prosumers are entering the market. There will also be, in parallel to that, we will have a workshop from the Power Youth project. It is more or less about how we can engage young people to join energy communities. And, spoiler alert, we will also launch our very own Yes Europe Energy Community tomorrow. So quite exciting. And finally, after the afternoon coffee break, we will then finish with another workshop from our colleagues from the NoNEPS project, which is, I think, quite an interesting workshop where we can learn a lot from very experienced energy efficiency experts, where the participants get a real life project where they can hands-on identify energy efficiency potential. So quite a lot to learn. Yeah, that's already a lot, but we will manage it in one afternoon.
All right, thanks Guntram, but that's not all. Barbara, what comes after that?
Yes, we have a second afternoon session starting at 3 p.m. And we will start by learning more about the Yes Europe current project. So we will have 4 different projects on stage. For example, I'm very interested to hear more about our COP30 delegation. So we have a delegation at the United Nations Conference of the Parties this year. We are very excited about it. And also this session will be focusing on different angles of making a change, as I already mentioned. And we will, for example, host a network for connecting volunteer activities towards the Sustainable Development Goals in Austria. And also we will host a Horizon research project. That's a really big EU project. Another YES member will be presenting. And also we will have a panel discussion on the different challenges and opportunities for young people to drive the energy transition, with youth advocates from politics, employment, entrepreneurship, science, and also activism. So there's also another opportunity to make a difference within current system, and this is public procurement, which will be a workshop we will be hosting parallel to this session from our conference partners, Schönherr Attorneys at Law.
And I would say two last personal notes. The first is we sit here, Gunther and Barbara and myself, we sit here because we have many colleagues who supports us. Thank you very much that you helped us to provide this program. And a personal note, my team know it, 2 weeks ago my father had a very hard stroke, so he was not good anymore. And I'm very happy that he's here. Valentin, you're here. Maybe we can give him one applause because he had a stroke. Because it is very beautiful that you are here. It was a hard stroke, and thank you that you joined us.
All right, thank you, Jeremias, for that personal note, and thank you all three of you for presenting the day tomorrow. Really excited. It's going to be a great day. So
join us tomorrow.
Yeah. So next up in the program, I'd like to introduce Anna Steiner. So Anna is an architect and expert in urban development at Urban Innovation Vienna. And tonight she's going to talk to us about InPlan, EU city development project. So Anna, welcome.
Thank you, and I'm happy to be here. Hello from my side as well. Thank you for introducing me. As you already said, my name is Anna Steiner. I'm an urban planner at Urban Innovation Vienna. Urban Innovation Vienna is the climate and innovation agency from the city of Vienna. So we are consulting the city, we are supporting the city in different municipal strategies. And I'm very happy to be here today, because in cooperation with Yes Europe, we had the opportunity today to provide a training on integrated planning with the project InPlan. You can see it in the back. The project is an EU-funded project which involves European partners from different regions, from Croatia, Ireland, Sweden, Romania, Italy, and probably I forgot one, but there are a lot of partners with us, and the goal is to really support experts in analyzing, in developing, and in implementing integrated planning. Now you may ask yourself, what is actually integrated planning? I'm going to tell you. But before, I would like to know, there was already some drinks were served before. Who of you got a drink before? Okay. What did you get? Who got a glass of wine? Okay, wine, yeah. Water, the good Viennese water. The best water. Few. Beer? Spritzer, okay. Who got a beer? Nobody got a beer. Okay, but then my punchline is a little bit bad. Because my idea was to tell you how beer and integrated planning, what they have in common. Maybe you like beer better afterwards. But before we get to that, we get to a little bit more serious topic. We know that we have strong climate targets on international level. Due to the Paris Agreement, we all know it. We have a really good international binding target as well. We know the current political situation is a little bit depressing, and we still have this target, which is very important. And also on EU level, with the climate law from 2021, we actually have a binding target for all the member states, and also the member states are obliged to set up their own national and energy plans, which is very important because that's trickling down. And I actually like what you were saying today, Jeremias. You said the municipality of Vienna, there it materializes. And I think that's a very good word to spread, that in the municipalities we see how climate neutrality actually is materializing. That's why we think also in InPlan that municipalities are the one location where we actually can bring climate neutrality on the ground, and where we can feel it. And we are also in this very lucky position nowadays that a lot of municipalities have really strong climate targets, and are really the drivers who bring us forward. Now, I want you to imagine a small town, a small municipality who has such a strong climate target as, let's say, Vienna, for example. Vienna wants to become climate neutral by 2040. And this municipality took a long process. They engaged some stakeholders. They asked the citizen to support them for the climate strategy. And after 1 year, they came up with a climate strategy. With implementing what the citizens said. They have mobility targets, they have energy targets on renewable energy, they also have a climate adaptation strategy, so actually they have a real good strategy outlined there. And so the years pass by and you think, you know the city, it's in the hinterland from where you are, and you think, okay, I want to see the city, I want to go there, and you go there by bike, you go by bike, and then you arrive in the outskirts of the city, and what happened? You see this. And you wonder, how can this actually happen? And that's real, because our municipalities have strong climate targets, but then this happens. A shopping center, which is quite new, which has a huge parking lot with a lot of sealed soil, fertile soil was seeded, so they have a lot of public, not that much public transport, but a lot of individual motorized transport, and you wonder what happened there. And what happened was that although they have strong targets, they were not able to integrate it. They were not able to actually integrate the climate strategy they have into their spatial planning, into their zoning plans, so it's still allowed to build this because there was a lack of integration. And that's what we try to solve at the InPlan project, and why we want to support cities that they actually can integrate their different plans. And when we see this, we talk of, technically, we talk of horizontal integration, which means that different sectors, like the climate and energy sectors, where the municipality actually had strong targets, are integrated with the spatial planning sector. But of course, we also have other ways of integration, meaning, for example, territorial integration, which means when a municipality sets their own strategy, they would also ask adjacent municipalities or another region to cooperate on their goals. In Vienna, for example, this happens with public transport. Maybe you know the FOR cooperation. It's on public transport systems, but it's also on ticketing. So they try that the public transport line don't stop at the border of the city, but they go beyond, and also the tickets you buy there you can use for Vienna, but also for Niederösterreich and for Burgenland. So there's territorial integration. And a very other important topic is vertical integration, which means that different levels of government have integrated strategies, have integrated plans, have integrated targets. That would be, for example, if the state of Austria makes a law how to phase out, how municipalities can lay out plans to phase out gas, which actually would be very helpful for the city of Vienna, because right now it's not there yet. So you see, there are still some problems when it comes to integration. And that's why created the Implant project in 2022. The project is still running. It will run until March next year. And as I said, it has the goal to support experts and to support municipalities in integrating their plans. And we do that with our partners. They are mainly regional partners. They are mainly energy agencies who help municipalities in their own territory to integrate those plans, to foster collaboration cross-departmental, to foster collaboration between the municipalities, and to actually really go through an integrated planning process. And our participants of Yes Europe who were at the training today heard some successes of different municipalities on how this was done. And also they had the possibility to learn in the workshop how they can do it themselves. And so we had one case in Vienna where we tried out how the integration of different sectors is working, how we can actually come up with solutions, and who should we involve when we get to the solution, which process we have to take. And I think you did a very good job on that, and I'm very happy that we had the training today. Apart from the training, we at Implant also developed the Implant practice, which is actually laying out this kind of process, who to involve in which step in the process of integrated spatial planning. And we also developed the checklist, which is kind of a tool where you can check if all the sectors for integrated planning are actually also covered by your strategy. And as I said, we also deliver trainings like the one today, which we are very happy that we could cooperate with Yes Europe. And I have to speed a little bit up, but I promised you that I'm going to tell you the coincidence between beer and integrated planning. So, that was too fast. Yes, Croatia. I just wanted to ask who knows the city. So Karlovac actually had a really good integrated planning process. What they did was they first managed that the political level actually set the political will to implement their goals from the SECAP. This is the Strategic Energy and Climate Plan municipalities have into their spatial plans. And what happened then? The authority teamed up, and the authority decided that they will elaborate the process design on how they do integrated planning, and that they will also divide different roles on who does what when. And so they started with mapping out their heat demand. So they looked where in the city is actually where we need a lot of heat, where is less heat, where do we need a lot of hot water. Then they mapped the renewable energy potential, so where we can put PV, where we can do geothermal energy. And then they also mapped their energy infrastructure. They actually found out that they had gas pipes and district heating pipes next to each other, which is a very inefficient infrastructure, of course, but it's happening a lot in cities. However, in the next step, as they already had their goals, they came up with measures. So the goal was to ban gas from the whole municipality. And what they did was they took one district, and that's the planning process actually. So they took one district for which they made a new zoning plan. And the new zoning plan had implemented to forbid gas for the whole area and to make it compulsory to have energy efficient buildings. So you were only allowed to build a house with very high energy standards. And what they also did, what we also have in Vienna, they mapped priority zones for district heating over the whole municipality. And last but not least, they also did a monitoring scheme to evaluate their processes over time. And now I'm coming to the end. So what this example shows is that to become climate neutral and to really become climate neutral as the whole world, as one country, we have to not only do and make really ambitious goals, but we have to bring them on the ground, and we have to really implement it, and that's actually hard work, because bringing together all the actors, bringing together the important stakeholders is really not easy. So I think the ones who are working in those authorities are actually the heroes of climate transition. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Anna, for the fascinating look into InPlan. Next up, I'd like to introduce Sarah Nyberg and Avi Makri. So Sarah is a specialist in sustainable energy infrastructure in cities at the climate consultancy South Pole, and was a country representative lead in Yes Europe from 2021 to 2023. And Afi is a climate justice researcher and is the current country representative lead since she took over from Sarah in 2023. So welcome to the stage. You can take a seat. So, nice and comfy? Yeah. Okay, so Sarah, it's been a few years since you were the country representative lead when you advised over 20 national teams and supported their initiatives. When you look back at this experience, what do you think about what made an impact on you, and what did you personally take away from your time?
I think I personally took away I learned so much, like skills, like through working with the country representatives. I mean, it's like being a team lead and so, and like supporting them. And that I think that I really have gotten use of in my day-to-day work. So the last years, I've been often a project manager, having to like coordinate with a collaborator in a project. Later on, I also became supervisor of some projects, and then I needed to sync with the project manager and one or several collaborators. So I think then I could really use the skills that I had kind of learned or improved as my time as a country representative lead to really like support others, check in, see how are they and what are they doing and so on. Yeah, so that's one example. A lot of more, of course, but that's one thing at least.
Yeah, I'm sure it's hard to go back and pick through all of them, but thank you for sharing. Afi, so you're currently now in Sarah's former role, and you're supporting the different country teams and country representatives in their activities. From your perspective, like what's important in this role? What guiding principles are important for you, and how are you supporting the teams in realizing their various goals?
Thank you for the question, and thanks also for the opportunity to share these insights with you, and congratulations to the Austrian team for organizing this. I think the most important part is communication and trust, I will say, because first of all, and this is something that it was already highlighted, this is a voluntary thing that we are doing. We are all volunteers. Jeremias said it better than anyone, that we do it on top of everything else. And it needs members to be constantly inspired to be in this role and be actively involved. And I think the major priority here would be that we would need to have a good communication with all the CRs as a community, but also separately on a bilateral level. They need to be supported, they need to be, to have the confidence that the organization is having their backs in their endeavors on the local level, and at the same time they can also transfer this kind of trust and communication and connection to their local members. And I think this is a chain of values that needs to be constantly developing so that we can have these great results like we have here.
All right, thank you. So I guess another question back to you, Afi. So you're the current country representative, as we said. Are there any ongoing or future initiatives that stand out to you as are particularly excited about?
I'm excited to see everything that the local teams have to show, because there is a big variety of potential from country to country. Every local team has its own capacities, expertise, and particularities, and we are eager as an organization to see what they have to bring. I'm very much excited about having to see this annual conference on its own, on its whole, and the next one, because it will be our 10 years anniversary, and I'm very eager to see that as well. And also we have a very interesting project ongoing that I consider it to be a great opportunity for the local teams to be involved. It's called the Policy Map project. So I'm very eager to see the participation of each country in this project, where we try to create a digital space gathering the whole communication about the climate and energy policy of every European country. And I'm very eager to see what the local teams have to bring in this.
All right, perfect. Thank you for sharing. So I guess to round out the panel, Sarah, last question. I was wondering, you've been with YES for quite a while and have had a good view over the years. I was wondering if you could share any thoughts or impressions you have about how YES has changed over the years as an organization, especially since your tenure as country representative lead.
Yeah, it has changed a lot, I can say. When I started, I was first a country representative for Sweden. We were a couple of country representatives and then after around 2 years, I became the country representative lead. And then during the coming 2 years, I onboarded, I don't know exactly how many, but more than 10 country representatives or CRs. I mean, partly because some like I know, during my time, Jeremias took over from the previous CR, but with also many new teams, we expanded a lot in new countries where we hadn't had a CR before. So that was amazing to see. Like we had a big surge or like a big increase. So that was super cool to be part of that. And like I did my best, of course, to motivate and engage all the CRs. And then after me, we had Paula officially taking over, but quite soon you also took over, Evi. And then, what I've heard, I haven't been too active since then, but there was somehow a decrease. But now I'm super glad to hear. I just chatted with you again this afternoon that now the last months there have been many new CRs onboarded again. So that makes me super glad and happy to hear. So yeah, I mean, it's like, life, it goes up and down. And I mean, there's only so much you can do as a CR lead. You can motivate them, engage them, but in the end, it's up to the CR, him or herself, to take action, to do things locally. You can't force them. So some things you just have to accept. That if I had a case, one CR just never replied again, I'm like, okay, you have to accept that. It's sad, of course, but then, you then get even more glad when you see new countries popping up and activities getting on again. And so yeah, I'm very hopeful now and see that it's a period of increased activity. So that's super cool.
All right. Well, thank you, Evie and Sarah, for sharing your experiences with us, and thank you for your engagement with YES. So.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming here.
All right, so next up, I'd like to welcome Antonio Ganlione and Antonia Abbatecola. Antonia Ganlione is a student of computer engineering at the University of Padova with a passion for clean tech. Antonio Abbatecola is a PhD student in industrial engineering, also at the University of Padova, with a focus on thermodynamics and interest in heat pumps. Tonight, they're going to share with us the winning project from the Clean Tech Academy. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Okay, it works. I'm Antonio Gaglione, and I'm here. I'm Antonio Abbatecola. Same name? Yeah, no surprise. So, first of all, I want to thank YES Europe for the chance, the opportunity that gave us to be here and to present our idea. So, our idea was born almost 5 months ago with the Clean Tech Academy. But what is the Clean Tech Academy? The Clean Tech Academy is a fully online, 3 months lasting program for people who are passionate about clean tech, sustainability, but also innovation and entrepreneurship. So, it was organized by Politecnico di Torino and Miticoro Foundation and supported by the EIT Tech Talent Program. The Clean Tech Academy gave us the opportunity to work with deep tech topics and also to work with people from all over the Europe. Today, I have a surprise for you, an opportunity, because Clean Tech Academy is now in its second edition, and if you want to join the Clean Tech Academy, only for you, the subscription, they are still open. So if you want to join the Clean Tech Academy, don't miss the chance. There is the QR code, you can scan and join it. So, we'll take it. So, before going deep into the details of our idea, I just want to introduce our team. So, I'm Antonio Batecola, and I'm Italian Mechanical Engineering. Just yesterday, I finished my PhD in thermodynamics, so I'm really happy. Thank you. Then we have my friend Antonio. We do not only share the same name, but we are from the same city. He is a computer engineer, and he has a strong passion for machine learning and innovation. Last but not least, we have Irina, who is our business expert. So, as Antonio said, when we joined the Clean Tech Academy project, we were assigned with a macro area. In our specific case was the autonomous repairability in large-scale renewable plants. And in that frame, we had to identify a problem and propose a solution. In our specific case, we addressed the problems of microcracks on offshore wind turbines blade. As you may know, offshore wind turbine can face extreme environmental conditions like icing, hail, rain, UV lights, and so on. And this can bring to the formation of microcracks on the surface of the blade. And this will expose the inner structure of the blade, leading to structural failure and efficiency losses. This results also in economic losses. Just take into account that minor issues can cost 12 times more than major structural repairs. And of course, this brings to economic problems. So we have $50,000 dollars in energy loss per turbine per year. There are already some solutions in the market, and those coatings require maintenance every 2 to 5 years. So now that we framed the problem, let's talk about our idea and the inspiration behind our idea. In this regard, I have a question for you. When you think about Italy, what is the first thought that you have? I mean, that's perfect. Pizza, yeah, that would be perfect for dinner time. But I was thinking more to something like Colosseum. So, Colosseum, it's one of the main landscape in Rome, okay? And as you know, it has been created by Romans. And the reason why Colosseum and other Roman landscapes are survived all these years is related to the material and technology that Romans used. Roman concrete had a unique feature. There was inside limestone, and this enabled self-repairing of the concrete. Based on this, we thought to nanolime shield. So nanolime shield, as you can see, it's like a mineral self-healing coating that exposes some nanoparticles when the microcracks form, that will repair the surface of the blade. It's an external coating, no treatment are needed, and it ensures long-lasting protection. So, going deep into the detail, this is a really, really thin coating. Just to give you an idea, it's less than 3 hairs. Inside the coating, we have nano particle of calcium hydroxide. And this coating in a lab scale can be deposited with deep coating technology in large scales. So for entire turbines, we think that it can be deposited with robotic arms by spray technology or drones. And the performance gains are related to the sealing of surface cracks, can restore the 80% of local stiffness, and can improve the fatigue life by 25% and reduce erosion by 40%. Just we will just go a little bit into the details of the process without creating not too many bothers. So imagine that we have a crack that forms on the surface of the blade, triggered by wind, sand, rain, salty spray, and all the other environmental conditions. This crack will expose the nanoparticle of calcium hydroxide that will react with the CO2 present in the air. And this will lead to the formation of the calcium carbonate, limestone. And the limestone will then fill the crack, renovating like the external surface of the blade. So I will now leave the floor to Antonio for the business part of the idea.
Okay, so I'm tired, so I don't want to bother you with all the financials and technical business details. I just want to say that we are in a booming market because today the installed wind energy is around 83 gigawatt, but in like 10 years we will be to almost 500 gigawatt. So the global wind blade repair material market was valued the last year 680 million, but in 10 years it will reach almost 2 billion, with an annual growth rate of almost 10%. And the most interesting thing is that the coating slice of this market is huge, is the 44%. So we are actually in an exploration phase, so we are not like, I have no competencies in business or economics field, financial. So just to give you an idea, we made some hypotheses about the cost of our product, that it should be extremely low, since the materials are not expensive at all. And we chose as main sales channels OEM and wind farm. OEM because our coating can be applied in production phase. Wind farm because it's also useful if you have to renew like all the wind farms, all turbines. So we also tried to make hypotheses on let's say our path in the future. If we start the production and we have the first revenues in 2027, we hypothesized that in 4 years we should grow, reaching almost 4 million of revenues. Last but not least, we want to face the environmental impact of our solution. The first point is that, as we said, the current coatings, the traditional coatings, need maintenance every 2-5 years. With NanoLime Shield, the lifespan of the coating can be extended up to 30 times this value. So the interventions are reduced, and this means that also the resources needed are reduced.
produced. So the second point is the CO2 that we actually lose with the current solution, with the current coatings. As Antonio said, we are losing 3% of energy production from each turbine, and the CO2 that we would save using our technology would be equal to take off 50,000 cars from the road every year. So a big impact in let's say, in the decarbonization. The third point is the microplastic release, because if you, I don't know if you know this, but the traditional coating are made, all the traditional coating are made of plastic. These plastics materials, they are released. In the case of offshore turbines, they often are released in the sea. Nano Lime Shield is completely mineral based, so we don't have microplastic release. We would avoid with our solution, with our technology, the release of the equal of 1.2 million of plastic bottles every year. This is just for 1,000 turbines, so on the actual number of turbines, the result would be bigger.
Yeah, so just to sum up, I will take the chance to thank you on my side also, Yes Europe and Clean Tech Academy that allow us and guide us during this project. And yeah, so Nano Lime Shield has the aim to, let's say, give our contribution on the energy and climate transition. We hope to go forward ahead with this project. So if you are interested and you want to discuss with us, we are open to critics, to suggestions, whatever that will help to us to grow. So thank you so much.
So yeah, thank you, Antonio, for this great look into Nano Lime Shield. Sounds like a really great project. So we're moving on to our final program item tonight, and that's going to be a discussion about the importance of volunteer organizations in the energy transition and in sustainability. So I'd like to welcome Eric, Yes Europe members Eric and Barbara to the stage, along with two new guests. Oh, go ahead, sorry. Along with Eric and Barbara, I'd like to welcome two new guests. First, Marco Gervasi. So Marco is a young professional working on energy access, infrastructure, and diplomacy at UNIDO and volunteers as a board member at EYEN. And finally, Valentin Wedel, who's the department head of EU and International Affairs at the Chamber of Labor of Vienna. So.
Can I just say, Marco ran to get here tonight. Just he got dropped off in the middle of nowhere, but he made it. So.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you all for coming up here. So to start off, I just ask a question in the round, and here we go. So, all right. When we think about the energy transition and sustainability, oftentimes people think of industrial processes or politics, but for yeah, and then those are the first things that come to mind for a lot of people. But also tonight, as a volunteer organization, we're interested in the role that can play in the energy transition as well, and helping advance the energy transition, not just technologically, but also in a socially just way. So the question to you all is, what role do volunteer organizations have in the energy transition, and also for young people who are coming to an age of a world that is full of all sorts of different challenges? So Eric, we can start with you.
So I think first of all, and Jeremy said at the beginning, is that people are volunteering their time, and that's a very underrated thing. Like if you think about it, that we as Yes Europe are full of professionals and we're trying to make a change academically and professionally, which is obviously what you expect from a conventional sense. But then what we created at Yes Europe is this third avenue. You're volunteering your time, energy, and money to something and you have no idea whether there's going to be any kind of payoff. So straight away, that's a good judge of character, because we are never going to achieve things as individual people. We need to sort of come together to achieve things as a group. And to do that, you need to be unselfish, believe in the common good, and all of these things. So straight away, as a voluntary organization, it's a test of character. And then comes all of the sort of knowledge and expertise, which we're obviously seeing tonight and we'll see over the next 2 days. And I think about young people as well, given that we're a young organization. Young people are the most important stakeholder when it comes to climate action. And I say this in the most kind of like non-offensive way. Yes Europe is an organization full of normal young people. Okay, they achieve brilliant things academically and professionally. But we are doing this because we just want to have a future to look forward to, and we're not running towards a disaster. We exist because we are normal young people who care about climate change. And that's what's made it really important for us to push forwards and say that, no, actually young people are the people who should care the most and should have the most important say moving forwards. So in theory, young people in a voluntary organization, you get a very, very powerful force moving forwards.
Yep. We can move on to you, Barbara. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah, thank you. And building on what you said, actually, I also think that there's a huge social component to it. I mean, we all need social relationships, and for example, we discussed a lot about depression and depressing things today. I will not go into that again, but I think it's important to know that we are not alone in this. We are not on our own. But another big point for me also personally in the Yes Europe network, for example, is networks are actually a fundamental component of agency. So if you have people around you that share similar values and that are willing to connect and are motivated to do stuff, it's actually quite empowering. So you get ideas, you develop ideas together, and you really take action and you really do something, and you really get away from the scrapbook with your idea and put it into real life. And that is something that is very empowering and that comes from networks. And I really believe that initiatives that are started in motivated and powerful and also competent teams are much more successful than like these solo projects who sometimes die along the way because you don't really know, is this even recognized what I'm doing? Does this even make sense? Because you have this backup team and this community you can talk to, you can have a sparring partner and stuff like that. So I think for developing action and agency, this is very important. Yeah, so I think really bringing together motivated people at a conference like this, again, some advertisement, but I think it holds incredible power in that department.
Right, yeah, thanks. We can just keep going in circles, so Marco.
Yeah, you kind of already say basically everything, but then I would just say that, I mean, we are from a different network, I would say. We're twins organization. Yes Europe and European Youth Energy Network, kind of, you know, the two pillars in Europe. They're like gather together youth and empower them. So I still wonder, like, what the youth empowerment look like if Yes Europe and AN will not be here? Because you say that the youth organization are needed for like not feeling lonely in this kind of environment, right? And then, like, you know, build the strength all together. You say that it's dedication, professionalism, and everything. I say that, like, the need of the youth organization is that most of us are desperate to being heard. And then as a single individual is basically impossible. Like if you go to your local government, to the national government, international organization, European institution, for instance, if you go out yourself, like no one, I mean, they can now listen to you, of course, but then your words will be listened from one person and then this person will forget about what you said. If you, on the other hand, stand as an organization well and established like Yes Europe or the European Youth Energy Network, you actually are the power to influentiate the policy, the discussion, to bring the conversation forwards and to actually to shape what you want to shape. So it's kind of an empowerment tool. That's how I would phrase it, how youth organizations are like serving youth and the entire community.
Thanks. And Valentin?
Yes. First of all, thanks a lot for this invitation. I'm very honored that I'm in that fantastic circle here tonight. And just 2 words about the institutions I'm working for, because I think the Chamber of Labor is not super known in Europe, but we are a sort of a trade union think tank. And in fact, we managed to become more a part of the solution of the climate problem than a part of the problem, because in earlier days, the social partners, the collaboration of the economy and the labor side were actually more a part of the problem, because we've been neglecting this. But now, since 5, 6, 7 years, it's apparent for us too. Also, it's obvious for us anyway to work on tackling the climate issue, as it is just super important. And despite we are talking about voluntary activity, we are in a way challenged. We are actually almost forced to deal with it. So I absolutely agree with what you've been saying. And about the sense of doing things voluntary, I think it's normal to do things on a voluntary basis. If not, if we only do things when we are actually forced by powers, or only do things when you get remuneration for it, when we get paid for it, then not only democracy is dead, society is dead. And we should not forget that there was a famous politician who said there is not such a thing as society. And this is part of the problem nowadays, that we are still a little bit caught in this market-driven philosophy, where we really have to get out to get the things done we need to do.
Yeah, I can personally second that. No one pays you to have a family or to do things for your friends, and I think, yeah, I can really get behind that. So you three, Eric, Barbara, and Marco, you're part of volunteer organizations. You've been active in helping build up organizations at Yes Europe and EYEN. What does this mean for you personally? So, like, where do you draw your motivation to do this? And are there moments where sometimes you wonder, really, like, is it all worth it? Your moments of doubt and in times of hardship, I guess.
I have no idea. I'm still figuring it out. Look, I joined Yes Europe 4 years ago because I was bored. That's the honest truth. It was coming out of COVID, and Yes Europe was founded in 2016, so we're going to turn 10 years old next year. And 2020 was probably the most significant year for us, and probably for you guys as well. COVID changed everything, because it meant that we had to find different ways to continue to be ourselves, or else, Yes Europe would not exist anymore, and the European Youth Energy Network would never found. So we realized that actually we can't let these hardships bring us further apart. We should actually find sort of, innovative ways to get closer together. And there are many, many different ways in order to bring young people closer towards renewable energy or sustainability topics or climate action. So ultimately, at Yes Europe, and Marco can speak a little bit about IN as well, we just want to give young people a voice. We feel it's our responsibility. We feel that, if life gives you a bit of fortune for no reason whatsoever, I think you owe a little bit back to whoever it may be in the cosmos or the universe or God or whatever you believe in, that actually, no, we do have an obligation to do something about it. And I think youth organization, and it's worth pointing out that IN now has 25 members or something like that. Exactly, all doing things at different various sorts of nationalities and themes, that they all have the same mission. We're all the same, basically. We want to provide a platform for young people to be closer to the climate, to the clean energy transition and climate action. So ultimately, we're just doing it for the love of the game, basically.
If you allow me to, I will share a little inside observation to answer this question. Because what I observed was the difference in voluntary work and like every other kind of work, be it care work or monetary work, you know, professional work, is that you have to see the value that you're doing it for, like every time you do something, because otherwise you wouldn't do it, because it's a lot of it is conflicting with family, with your job, maybe with your children, your pets even, your sports. So there's really a lot of things that are conflicted. So you really have to do this thinking beforehand. Is it worth it, actually? So, and you also have to do it along the way, like all the time. Is this worth it? Can I do it? Is it worthwhile doing it? Is there something at the end of it that does make sense? So you have this question all the time. And yes, for me, of course, there has been a time, or there's been a lot of times where I was asking myself this question, is it worth it? And there are some things you miss out, like, for example, sports practice, or even weddings or birthdays or something like that. It happens. But I think in turn, what is the really crucial point? If something matters to you, then you do it well. You put in effort. And I think this is something I really noticed in all of Yes Europe, and actually a lot of voluntary organization I was part of, or I witnessed somehow, that the people are very efficient, they are motivated, they are really driven towards a goal, be it an annual conference, or be it a policy paper, or be it some other form of activism, for example, a demonstration, whatever. The people are really driven. And also, they are then often very successful. So another point I would like to share is there's a lot of creativity in it. And that is actually the fun part, because there's no real demand you have to fulfill from your employer or a customer or somebody like that. There's just really the place and the space you can use for toying around with ideas. You use your community as sparring partner and so on. And this is actually really fun. And I think that's also a good reason to be in it, for the fun.
Harry, this question I think is one of the most tough to answer. I will answer two ways. So the first one is like, of course, a yes. Like, I have doubt every single minute of my life why I'm volunteering. But not because I don't believe in the cause, because I'm so much committed that my brain cannot think about anything else. So, and every time we see an issue, every time I see, the youngster, they're joining the organization, how they still need mentoring, how, how much maybe I would be needed there, how much I can guide them, how much me and the others, they are there since forever, basically. And then, we all have full-time jobs, and then you need to, the employer is the one that pays your bills, and then actually gives you the opportunity to volunteers as well. So you always need to balance it, like, how are you gonna make it? Like, it's basically impossible. Like, I think just, guys, we really are, we don't have superpowers, but we really do find times in, whenever others cannot find it. And then I don't find any difference from Ian and my work, or in general working. You know why? Because I'm, at the same time, I have the lucky to do as a job what I really love. So I'm committed the same, even though from one thing I'm paid and from the other I'm not. And then if I should describe Ian is the place where my dreams came true. Any project I had in my mind, I was able to realize thanks to the organization. Alone, I wouldn't be able. We raise funding every year, always more funding from project development, for education, for bringing our voice to scope. Now to this, the largest basically youth energy fully sponsored conference in Europe, where maybe it's not gonna be like that. But then let's see with Yes Europe. But in general, just saying competition, I would say here. But then everything we truly dreamt, we realize it. And this is just thanks to our tireless effort for making this happening. So yeah, we are tired, but we love it, I guess, right?
As a new parent, I can say that also describes parenting pretty well.
It's our baby, right? It's our baby.
So, Valentin, you get the last word tonight. So from your standpoint at the Chamber of Labor, what role do young people and volunteer initiatives like this conference play in building support in the younger generations for the big societal transformations that we're striving for, like just transition, climate neutrality, and so on?
It's a very tough question, actually, and they play a super important role. So all the young people that are here many of them will be leaders of tomorrow, maybe already today. And I think that it's not only about building bridges, which is sometimes said, building bridges to the political system when you have associations on a voluntary basis like this one. I think it's necessary to replace the generation which is in power now, to replace, not only just to connect, but to replace. I see it, I think the generation I'm in, I'm now 55, I should be replaced in at least 10 years. Now, but maybe already earlier, it's okay. Our generation managed to do quite a lot of things very well, but we've been failing completely in dealing with the climate issue. I think one of the reasons is that we are chained by certain taboos. So Mr. Freud, the office of Mr. Freud, to the ones that are not from Vienna, is actually over the square and a little bit further on, 5 minutes walk from here. But we have tremendous problems after the year '89 in criticizing our economic system. We can't do it. As soon as we do it, they say, well, you are not realistic, it doesn't work. It's a real taboo. And this is hampering us, or is a real objection in finding very creative ideas in making new setups of resolving issues. I think the idea of different societies you can form, energy societies, for instance, is not something that is actually coming out of the current market system. And we have to get this economy under control again. It is out of control completely, and I think we also see the political phenomena of an economic system out of control. We have to get it under control because it's the way things are being produced and reproduced and distributed. That's super material, and that's a very ecological issue too. So this is something where I think that the future generation, or the generation which should take power as soon as possible, should be able to discuss way more openly as my generation could do. When I talk about it, they say I'm an extremist. I'm not. I just want to talk without any ideology about the problems and about the solutions of this time. And this is my address for tonight to you. Don't get chained by any taboo. Thank you.
Very well stated. That's a good note to end on, I think. So, thank you. You can all take a seat. All right, so thanks everybody for coming. That'll do it for our program tonight. To round out the night, you can discuss your impressions, your ideas with friends or with strangers. We're all friendly. Over a drink, which the factory will be serving until 8:45. Thank you so much for coming. We're really looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow, bright and early. And have a good night. Sorry, group photo.